Ahmed Rokib is a student of knowledge. He studied Arabic in the popular institution of humanities in France, and since his return he's been studying privately with the ulamas within the region. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Ahmed Rokib to deliver his talk. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good evening. So my title is on the topic Secularity and Sacred Law, based on Mufti Ehsan's legal maxims. So I'd like to talk about a certain book authored by Sayyid Ehsan, which is an amalgam of jurisprudential treasures. It consists of 5 works, 3 of which are his own, and 2 abridgments of Qadi al-Dabusi and Imam al-Karkhi's legal principles. The first treatise is his jurisprudential lexicon entitled At-Ta'rifat al-Fiqhiyya, which is in circulation in the Arab world and arguably more accessible than al-Jurjani's eponymous book. The second is on the conventions of delivering legal edicts, Adab al-Ifta, which is his prose rendition of Ibn Abidin's versified Uqud Rasm al-Mufti. The third and most important of the collection, and the focus of my presentation today, is his treatise on legal maxims, Qawa'id Fiqhiyya. It is likely that his vision for Muslim identity politics at the time was similar to Turkish ulama, who realized the only viable way to preserve or keep the Sharia relevant is preserving the legal maxims, which are not necessarily scriptural in nature, but rather inductive. And as a result, they frequently conflict with each other. Now, this is not necessarily a negative thing, but it does allow flexibility in legislation. And in its codified form, it is ideal for positive legal, and by that I mean secular frameworks. We are all aware of the tensions between religion and secularism. The Catholic theologian Hans Kung proposes that secularism needs a good dose of religiosity to cater for most communities in which faith still plays a significant role. And likewise, religion needs a good dose of what he terms secularity, a type of intellectual and political maturity when it comes to dealing with modernity. Now, this is not necessarily secularism in the Eurocentric sense. It is rather akin to late 19th and early 20th century Islamic interpretations of La tansa nasibaka min ad-dunya, don't forget your portion of the world, and the prophetic tradition, Antum adra bi umuri dunyakum, you my companions are more acquainted with your worldly affairs. Object-orientated jurisprudence, the Maqasidi school, and its proponents in our times, both Islamists and secular nationalists, are aware that legal maxims allow the practical and pragmatic implementation of the objectives of the Sharia in secular settings. Sayyid Ehsan realized that this way of incorporating aspects of the Muslim law was inevitable in the wake of A, Pakistani Islamic Republic, B, a Hindu majority India, and even later, C, a Muslim majority Bangladeshi Republic. It is no surprise that in all these eventualities, Sayyid Ehsan's approach is applauded by the Hanafis of Bangladesh, Pakistan and India. There is no doubt that Ehsan's command of the tradition and stature in traditionalist circles. However, from his writings, it does appear that his project was to some extent reformative. And as I have highlighted, the Qawa'id Fiqhiyya corpus was designed to reinterpret fiqh. And his work, Al-Fiqh al-Sunan wal-Asar, was intended to acquaint the student of knowledge with the statutes of religion. We have seen his recognition in Pakistan, India, and even in the Arab world. And it's now up to those of us of Bangladeshi heritage to recognize his work, embrace his teachings, celebrating it within this British context, and continue his much-timely legacy. Thank you.